Yo, yo, back with another watch list this evening. February 13th tomorrow. Few trades to go over on my end. And got a few main watches as well. So, decent little action-packed review sesh this evening. Yo, yo. Chris, how's it going? BBAI, little breakout here on the daily through the 980s level, but it was just a bit too straight up into that level. I had contemplated a long swing overnight. Howdy, what's going on? I had brought my laptop with me today on the road, so I tuned in around market close just because we've had so much action lately. A lot of gaps. So I decided against this one just because it was so straight up. I imagine this continues higher. I could see weak opens into the low to mid nines get absorbed as well. So I'd anticipate a gap up when it's done each day, where you get breakout day, gap up, breakout day, gap up. So I anticipate this breaking out. Whether it continues much higher, but I think it does gap. Jeff, how's it going? Travis, how's it going? MGOL Wild After Hours put out some news, and definitely shorts in a bind here. So we've got 76 as the highs, pre-market and prior day's highs. So ideally doesn't break that tomorrow and maybe Friday. Get that break, but I definitely think shorts are underwater here. Like we had said on prior watches, a lot of the range on this was on gaps. There wasn't a whole lot of intraday range. So now this will be the exact same thing again. We got a huge gap down, sideways, gap down, sideways, and then most of the move here is happening from 45 to 65. 20 cents on a 40 cent name is a 50% move, so this will be up 50% tomorrow. So most of the range is happening in the gaps. So my next play on this won't be so much a short into resistance, but we'll be hoping that it now can consolidate in this 70 to 40 range and maybe set up for a breakout down the line. Worth keeping an eye on CYN and OMGA as possible sympathies if MGOL gets going. Maybe it starts running a bit too much too quick and I don't like chasing it, but you can get some of these cheapy sympathy names that moved off the back of it. I like the way you go over these. Cool, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that little cheap subby sector is worth a watch. SOPA was waiting for just a little bit more off the open. We got that little shove. The gap down was so substantial into the 450s. So I was looking for just a little bit more of a squeeze out, and it failed a bit quickly, so ended up missing that one. I was watching it right in the 520s. Saw this volume candle come in off the highs and ended up deciding against it, which hindsight was a mistake, but is what it is. AIFF, nice continuation, another day higher. Volume not speeding up, but it is holding up. So definitely worth watching. No longs in it at this point for me, but would just be watching for overextension. First red days, gap up parabolics, or opening range breakdowns and red moves for a quiet fader. Dom H traded this one from the watch list, ended up reclaiming after hours as well, but intraday acted fairly well. I got off desk briefly to go to the washroom right around here, and I set a stop, so I shorted with risk on high a day. It wicked me out, So I got right back in and then used like 750s instead of high a day. I wasn't sized full size versus high a day. That was just where I set my stop. But I didn't want to get wicked out again, so I set my stop just over red to green. That way, if it's breaking highs, breaking red to green, then I think it should start to spike. So that's what I did on this new position. And then we got this 7 breakdown and then acted as a top. But I didn't have a new risk level to use because the spread was a bit wide, so I couldn't like size into VWAP or anything like that. So I just left that core position on. And then right around here, I saw it failing, so I felt comfortable, and I had to go to the washroom, so I kept my stop in, and it flushed out. And by the time I got back, it's starting to bounce a little bit, and I didn't cover right away, and it grinded me all the way back, so I took it off on a dip. Took the gains and ran. Didn't really amount to much the rest of the day anyways. XLO, I took a decent loss on this one. Was a gapper with some overhead resistance I was playing off of. You can see the volume candles. It's got a bit of dilution, and it was acting heavy versus VWAP all day, or all morning, I should say, not all day. So I let it do its thing off open, shove, hard crack, lower high. So short sum here. Didn't have a stop at highs, was going to let it break through like we had gone over, where you want to see exhaustion in and around the upper end of the range, and you want to see it break the lower end of the range. So I was looking at it as a 130 to 150 range. If I draw these two lines, you can see it's trading within that. So I'm not shorting down here, and I'm not. I could have taken a starter here, but I just wanted to let it do its thing. So I would have let it rip through high a day. I wouldn't have stopped out. I wasn't full size yet. And then once we started to fail 130s, we got a crack under it. I added and had most of my risk there on highs. And then once we failed, I reshorted and was full risk on highs. And it was doing okay. I was comfortable in here. Typically, it likes to exhaust through VWAP right back near lows at 11 a.m., which is typically high a day is set by then if it's trading near lows. And it was just an outlier and ripped through and stopped me out there. So is what that one is. Tivik. Like I say, I did have my computer with me at market close. So I saw this multi-day breakout right here through the 60s, and then this overhead resistance here in the 90s. And what we had here was a bigger picture, ABCD. If we go to a higher time frame, you get this big A, pullback, grindy, higher lows, and then once you get this break, so right near the close, closes up here in the 60s, and wicks keep getting bought up. Same thing that happened on IVVD, same thing that happened on MGOL. This has been a pattern lately where names that are closing near their highs on strong green days and break them in after hours tend to go on a run. So I bought them just because of the current market environment, but not looking to stick around. So took the 15-cent trade. I think it was, yeah, probably about 15 cents or so. Little 20% winner. Tivik. Oh, and TMC. That one stopped me out this morning. Oh, right, dead lows, nice. It broke down. SPGC, this one here was a recent runner, hit some price alerts today. Volume came back in. So far, pops back into resistance. I'd short like parabolics up into resistance. This was a bit grindy. But if we got more of a straight up spike, but we didn't. So now I just set price alerts here up in the 80s to 90s range, and possible bigger picture setup if it starts to grind up and retest highs. Kidley was a chat pump, a promos, like they send out mailers through a service. I don't believe it's compensated, but it is a pump job where they're sending out mailers and email lists and stuff. And they don't always do this, but it was, I'm thinking it was here where they started sending it out and churning the volume. Was where I saw it, I believe. And obviously someone picked it up and ran with it, so nice move. No real plan on it for me at this point. It is manipulated. It probably should end up back near its lows, but I don't know what it's going to do before then. And NKGN, same kind of thing. Just starting to rip up there into the close. So big percent gainer, keeping on watch. Thoughts on lottery? Says Bass Hunter. Don't really have a whole lot of thoughts. Like, fundamentally, this thing should be back near its lows. Technicals, its pullbacks have a lot more, lower volume than its breakouts. But the volume's just not super consistent. Like, it's not churning volume to continue higher. What's this 160s line? Where am I getting that from? Because it's been chopping around at like support, resistance, support. Could be from back here. I'm thinking. Maybe like this support level. Maybe I drew that. Can't remember. But basically my thoughts on this, it's not extended enough for me to short, and it hasn't consolidated long enough for me to buy it. But what I would like to see is it to continue to hold up here, 160 plus, and start to consolidate under its recent highs here in the 230s, 240 range. So if it can consolidate between 230 and 160 for another day or two, and then maybe re-break out down the road, would be the only setup I really see in it right now. Fundamentally, I want to short it, but I just need the chart patterns to agree. So I need this thing to extend itself a bit further first. Eighth going to 20. I'd love that. If this could have put in another green day tomorrow, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. I forgot to mention too on Tivik, I just went over my trade on it, but this one will be gapping up huge tomorrow. It'll be up, it's already up 50% from its close already, 30 cents on a 60-cent name. So it's already a 50% gapper. And if you look left here on the daily, gap, fail, breakout, fail, gap, fail, gap, fail. This is kind of where we're at. And this one, you get a strong green day. Bigger the gap, the better. Morning spike and round trip. Gap, fail, gap, fail. So that's what I'd be looking for on this. Would be a day 2 gap and crap. So higher the better at gaps. Little blow off first pre-market highs and then round trip it. But yeah, AIF, I'm hoping it continues higher. I'm willing to try it tomorrow if it starts to fail to follow through, but I'm not expecting it to be easy. 930 low a day. $932 low a day. So it likes to set its low a day near the market open. Maybe a 5-minute range breakdown could be a trade. So probably something I have up at the open, like a 5-minute chart. Look for opening range lows to get taken out. If it's gapping up, could be a trigger for it to pull red. Small win on SOPA. Didn't get size I wanted before the halt. Too big of a spread on Dom H. Yeah, Dom H was a bit spready. I wasn't crazy size on it for that reason, because it easily could have swiped through and halted up. The raffle at Clover was almost exciting as trading. SMCI pricing of private placement, 700 million convertibles. Yikes. News just came out on that. Probably get smoked. You think you're going to win, then it just rug pulls. Yeah. Some people didn't like my chat comments when Shang Pao Jing Zhang won. Could have had anyone with the name Zhang claim that thing, apparently. LTBR, that's crazy. That thing's right at highs. Wow, that's a big top. All the way back to 2015. That's a 10-year breakout. That's insane. This serve daily looks pretty nice too. I was trading that breakdown trade right through here, but it's held up pretty well. That can start to build through 21.5. Get over these recent highs. That 24 level is calling my name. I think that breaks out. Any AI stocks with BBAI? I think BBAI has got most of the attention. BFRG is a bit too illiquid. Hub C I was swinging for a little bit, but that stopped me out on this red day a couple days ago. I was trying Hub C through this 90s $1 break, but it ultimately got stuffed. So I'm thinking BBAI, like what was the other ones? We had GFAI, you had CSAI, had a bunch of AI names. Yeah, I remember BFRG, obviously AI itself. But like all the AI names have come and gone, and then BBAI didn't go with it and now is just going on its own. It doesn't even have sector strength with it. So I'm thinking this one's just moving on its own. I think the AI move has run its course. And I think this one's just kind of doing its own thing. Teladoc, not much range, but you're talking a backside bounce. Yeah, I think basically what you said. Daily wise looks all right, but I think what you said, just not much range. It could work, but not something I'd want to put money at. Let's serve though. This one's catching my attention. It's looking pretty good. So watches tomorrow. I could see week open red to green if this doesn't gap up too much on BBAI. I'm expecting it to gap up, but I don't really care to miss it. If I was worried about missing it, I would have just taken it at the close today, but didn't really care too much. MGOL, maybe down the road, look for that 76 break. Definitely a lot of volume down here. So breakouts could get going, start trading 1 billion shares or something, and then maybe CYN or OMGA as sympathy trades. AIFF, overextension, first red day. Tivik, gap and crap. Day 2, gap and crap. Higher the better on that one tomorrow. I think that's about it. I think that's it. Anyone get a ticket to that East Coast meetup with Traders for a Cause on the 20th? The decreasing volume, yeah. It does, for sure. It was a lot more consistent here on day 1. It traded all of its volume here off the open, and then it just disappeared. So I'm going to be looking to see if this will fail off of prior day's highs and use these 14 halves as a guide. Will be my plan on that. Just looking at it, like, buyers could have been exhausted, maybe running out of patience, running out of buying power, chasing it up. It could have been the last hurrah given how the volume traded. It wasn't steady with buyers off of dips like it was over here, so. Chris was close to winning that raffle. Hard to get there from California. Hey, I'm right there with you. I think it's like 8-hour plane ride or something for me as well. And there is no direct flights. That's all right. Golan, have you been to the Vegas one? Usually in the fall. I had this sports bet on today, and they completely screwed me. It was, let me see, what was it? Where the heck was it? There it is. It was a 4-leg parlay for Jeremy Grant, 20 points, LeBron James, 20 points, Jimmy Butler, 20 points, James Harden, 20 points. And Jeremy Grant was out due to knee pain or knee soreness or something. It wasn't even an injury. 20 points for all these guys, I think, is light work. We're getting like a negative 300 odds, negative 200 odds, plus 100 odds. Like on their own, it's nothing, but getting the parlay with all of them was like a plus, what is that? Plus, I think I had a plus 1200 or something. And then this guy getting sore voids the parlay. I'm going to go to this guy, like, I need to give him a talking to. LeBron's only got 18 points against the Jazz? What kind of game is that? Since when does LeBron share the ball? Oh gosh, Tanner's in here. Don't you have a baby to watch or something? I do like that AIF closed at 13 for red green level. It's your big volume profile is. I like the way you're talking. 51st state. Hey, I won't complain. I'd be fine with it. Man, you don't get enough of a gambling friends from trading. My brother's been a sports bettor for, I don't know, the last year or two. He just like a hobby thing, nothing meaningful dollar wise. And I always make fun of him for it because I'm like you can basically get that gambling fix from trading, but you're trading with an edge. Where sports betting, yes, people make a living at it, but I think that there's a bit like your risk reward is skewed on it because they're giving you the odds where you're choosing and trading on what trades you're taking that give you certain odds. Where if you want to, say pick the Jazz to beat the Lakers today, they're going to give you the odds. So the win rate is 50-50. Anyone can win a basketball game, but the odds aren't like a 3-1 on a 50-50 trade kind of thing. So I explained that to him, and I kept making fun of him. So then the Super Bowl was on the other day. So I texted him and I said, "Hey, I heard the Super Bowl's on. What app do I use to bet on the MVP?" And he's like, "Stop it." He started laughing at me. I'm like, "No, I'm serious." So I wired some money into it. I placed 3 bets in the Super Bowl and they all hit. So I've just got some fun money in there. It's doesn't matter. I think I'm still up on it. I've just been doing it for fun the last few days. I think it's funny that gambling's illegal when everyone's 401k gets gambled. Bass Hunter, word of advice: reject that friend request from Tanner. Just my opinion. Probably safe to just block him while you're at it. Yeah, so main watches tomorrow probably these cheapy baskets. We'll look at MGOL, CYN, and OMGA. And then main few would be AIF and TIVIC. Higher the better. Overextension. Failed to follow through. And probably look to see if I can finagle an entry here on serve. I just really like the look of this 24 break. It's calling my name. Weekly? Yeah, weekly looks even better. So that's probably my stuff there. I think we'll leave it there and I'll wrap it up and see the rest of you tomorrow. Trading well. See a few of you in the room. And the rest of you back on tomorrow. Take it easy, team.